on there, but oh, thanks, Frank. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Let's make this all happen. So I think most people have probably seen one of these so far, but if you haven't, let me cover a couple ground rules for how this works. We have our sponsor showcase, number 2, with 3 of our amazing sponsors for Higher Ed Dreamin. First, we're going to interview Matt from Blackthorn, then we'll be talking with Chris from Invado, and then we'll be ending with Sabre from Leek. You're going to see them on the screen as well as different members of our higher ed planning team. And this should be really fun. They get to be in the hot seat with literally a timer, counting down 5 minutes while they answer 5 questions. I haven't said this yet, but it is kind of like speed dating. So, it's kind of cute. And of course, you'll be hearing a little bit more about what they do. And we'll follow up with how to get in touch with them, specifically trying to direct you guys to the booths where they're just hanging out and waiting for people to come talk with them. So that's in the expo area. And we'll make sure to tell you how to connect with them after that. All right, I think first up today, let me just cover again how this works. What we're going to do is bring one of our amazing sponsors on stage. So our first person up is actually Matt Frank from Blackthorn. Matt, if you want to join us on the screen. I think, Carrie, are you interviewing Matt? Is that how this is working?
Yeah.
Yep, so we're going to start the clock for 5 minutes. Carrie will play host and ask the questions while Matt answers, and they've got 5 minutes, and they have to answer the questions before time runs out. It's all very dramatic and very exciting. Let me go ahead and share the right screen here, and then I'll hand over to you, Carrie. One moment.
No pressure at all, Matt.
No. All right, I think you guys
I'm
can
excited.
see the screen. I'm going to go ahead and pin Matt to the top, and then Carrie, I'll start the clock and hand it over to you.
All right. Well, Matt, it's so good to see you today. I have just 5 short questions for you, and the first one is, tell us about Blackthorn.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me, Carrie. I really appreciate it. I'll start off easy, right? Our tagline is building these lasting, measurable connections with Salesforce native apps. And we do that by being the, Salesforce EDU product partner of the year for the last 3 years, which, very proud of. Going to just dust off the shoulders there. We have a solid track record, right, for helping schools build these stronger connections with their alumni, their students, and their donors. And that entire engagement suite that we have, all 5 of those apps that you see listed on the screen, events and SMS and storefront, payments and data compliance, are all really designed to enhance that engagement data across your CRM. And that enhanced engagement data is what can be used for better student prospecting, for recruitment, and additional belonging data that can be used in student success plans and alumni or donor targeting, or even the ability to provide more meaningful experiences for lifelong learners and get them back involved. So we know that this type of data is super important, and we build around it because many of us come from the higher education world, right? I've been previously at George Mason University and Washington University in St. Louis. Members of our product team come from Pepperdine. So education's core to our mission, and the apps that we build are really core to that too. And one cool stuff that I just want to share really quick, Blackthorn events within the world of education has actually processed this year 1.4 million event registrations, and about half of those were either paid or had donations attached. So again, we're deeply invested in the success of our schools.
Awesome. Thank you. And you've already touched on this a little bit, but is there anything else you want to say about your expertise specifically in higher education?
We work across the life cycle, right? From RNA to alumni and advancement and everything in between. We probably have an app or grouping of apps that works in any of those given areas.
All right. Awesome. All right. Question number 3. Tell us a little bit about something recent, a recent project within the last 6 to 12 months that you've done in either higher education or another customer.
Oh, yes. Good one. I will caveat this by saying they're not live yet. They are very much in implementation. But the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, right? Their number one goal with coming on with Blackthorn and coming on with Salesforce is having better data around their student engagement on campus and improving their retention rates and student happiness rates. And they are doing this by not only adopting Blackthorn events within their campus, but Student Success Hub, Marketing Cloud, Tableau, all the clouds, all the shiny ornaments you put on the Salesforce tree. And they're making this investment because about 80 to 90% of the events that they host on campus, whether they be orientation or student success, they had no way of tracking the data. Check-in, registration, RSVPs, you name it. So that wasn't being tracked back towards their core student records, creating this massive gap across the campus where they didn't have a big picture on their metrics, how people were learning, how people were belonging, and matching that against their student retention rates. And so they're putting a lot of time and resources into their programs to ensure that students stay with University of Tennessee. Good example of this is like their Big Orange Welcome Week, which is 3 weeks long, and it has like 600 events and 7,000 students. And without a app like Blackthorn, there was no way for them to really ensure that the right students were attending the right programs and that they are aware of all the communications that they need. And it's sort of fitting into one of their core values as a campus, which is to be a home away from home for their students.
Wow, that sounds like a great project. We've got just over a minute to go. And question number 4, what excites you about 2024 coming up? Any roadmap or product things you want to talk about?
So we've got some big enhancements coming out to events, like a massive rules engine and pricing enhancements and events within events, and redoing how we do donations alongside free events at whether it's orientation or alumni. So we have a big roadmap piece there, but I'm really excited about how it all fits into Data Cloud and how it can be used eventually to make a golden student record.
Very cool. All right, last but not least, Matt, what's your alma mater and what was your degree in?
Undergraduate, Virginia Tech, go Hokies. So interdisciplinary studies with a specialty in educational design and pedagogy. That's kind of fun. And then I went to grad school at George Mason for a master's in public administration. And they're still very much basking in their Final Four run glow from 20 years ago. So, go Patriots there as well.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Matt. And don't forget to visit Blackthorn in their booth.
Yes, come say hi.
Come say hi. Oh, and that says Huron, so I will fix that. Go say hi. And you're leading a roundtable later, right, Matt?
I am, right after this, on events on campus. Again, come say hi.
Go say hi. Go say hi. And people want to know about your light, so if you can drop a link in the chat.
I will do that.
Awesome. All right. Our next speaker, I'm going to readjust my timer. Great job, Matt, by the way. Oops, pause. I'm going to readjust this. I think we're going to unpin Matt, and we're going to bring Chris up here. Chris, can you hear us?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Florence, and you're doing this one, right? So I'm going to hand off to you in just a moment. All right.
Hi, Florence.
Here we go.
Hi, Chris. Well, you ready to get started?
Let's do this.
All right. So tell us a little bit about Invado.
I'm going to take 10 seconds of that time to first off thank Haley, Frank, Florence, and Carrie. Everyone, please give a virtual round of applause there. You guys have done an amazing job. Thank you so much for volunteering. It's been an amazing event. So Invado fills a gap that we found in the higher ed consulting partner landscape. On one side, most higher ed institutions have marketing agencies that might include data providers, developing campaigns, really good at marketing. On the other side, you have system integrators, consulting companies that really know Salesforce and technology well. So what Invado does is, in short, we connect these two worlds. We provide marketing and Salesforce technology expertise to create, A, to help institutions acquire more students, B, create memorable experiences, and the third thing would be helping them hit their advancement goals. We've worked with universities to develop their marketing strategy, develop campaigns, fill the funnel, design and implement email campaigns, and even work on their messaging. But the best part is what we do is once the strategy is in place, we implement that in Salesforce. So whether it's with Education Cloud or in Marketing Cloud or other select technologies, we work to implement that so that they're actually able to drive the maximum value out of the platform. We've worked with universities around the globe. About half our team comes from Salesforce. About another half has actually worked for universities. So when you work with us, you're actually getting people that have been there, done that, And our priority is really getting you to rise above the marketing fray. Make sure that you're not only hitting your enrollment goals, but exceeding them.
I love that so much. Well, you've dabbled a little bit in the next question about your expertise areas in higher ed. Is there anything else you'd like to share on that question?
Yeah, so I mean, we really focus on the most pressing challenges, which is acquiring students and retaining students. Those are the two biggies that we tackle head on. Look, there's an enrollment cliff coming up. Peter Coffey talked a bit about the whole continuing life cycle of students. There's going to be winners and losers, and we are working with our clients to make sure that they're winning and acquiring more students. Once you work with us, we have actually a process that we walk people through. Stop by our booth to learn more about the 4-step process that we work on in terms of evaluating where you're at with your student acquisition from a marketing and technology perspective. We develop a plan around that and then work with you to implement that plan so that you're growing your pipeline and getting more students across the board, whether we work with executive ed programs, we work with community colleges, we work with continuing education, we work with undergrad, you name it, we bring our expertise across the education spectrum.
Oh, good stuff. So is there a recent higher ed implementation or customer story that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you two quick ones. First is an executive education program. We are actually finishing up their migration to Education Cloud. They've been a long-time client, really siloed marketing, enrollment, finance, and program execution. We're putting the whole thing on Education Cloud, so they're able to streamline significantly, improve that entire process. The second one is actually a large university in Florida. To create a memorable experience for their students, we're actually building out a full internship portal for them. So, getting a job coming out of college is top priority. They needed a robust solution to be built out to match businesses with students. So we're using the power of Education Cloud to actually build that out for them. They're super excited. We're thrilled to really capitalize on that technology to make that happen.
Very exciting. All right, we're rounding out the last minute that we're in. What excites you about 2024?
Education Cloud, we're seeing great success with. We're also, as a marketing and an organization that's passionate about the pipeline, Marketing Cloud has some great integrations coming up with Education Cloud. If you're not familiar with them, be sure to check them out. From our perspective, this will enable a lot more cohesive engagement with students, being very targeted with your messaging, segmentation. But then also what really thrills me is the ecosystem. Having been in higher ed for a long time, quite often higher ed was forced to use tools built for another space. The fact that we now are having tools that are built for higher ed is just awesome.
Awesome. Well, we hit the limit. So that last question, if you'd like to share it with us in the chat, or better still, we can send everyone over to your booth to check it out. And I'm going to pass it back to Haley.
Yeah, if you do have questions, go visit their booth. I was given a nice shout out to Tiffany, who's been just a total joy to work with, but go hang out with them. I'm just going to do a really quick refresh on my screen for a second. So I'm going to stop sharing and bring it back. I already see Sabre's joining me in the hot seat. How you doing, Sabre?
Awesome.
Are you having fun?
Yes, this is good. I love you entertaining me for the afternoon. I don't get to do that every day, Haley.
I do love doing this. So hand me a microphone. You don't know what you're gonna get. All right, I think I've got our stuff back up. So let me just get us going. Entire screen. Okay, so Sabre, you've seen this go. So are we ready for the 5 minutes?
I am as ready as I will ever be, Haley.
Sounds good. All right, I'm going to start the timer and ask you a question. All right, tell us more about Sleek Consulting.
So, Haley, we turned 20 last month. I can't believe we have been managing implementations, fundraising implementations for 20 years. My first was in 1997. And I moved an organization that I was working with off of their VAX system and onto the browser system that we selected. Fell in love with change management and all of the different ways that you could really impact an organization. And my team, wow, they are so amazing. They have taken on the implementation cycle and have managed several hundred of them over the last 20 years. We're at more than 250 at this point. So we are we're moving quickly. We are managing the risk, but the team gets very excited about change, and it's almost contagious. So in 2015, however, we moved in Salesforce, and a lot of the pain that we were dealing with in the previous legacy system implementations went away. So that was a really good win for us when we started doing QSS implementations in Salesforce.
Nice. Yeah, tell us more specifically. I know you just said a little bit about your expertise in higher ed.
Yeah, advancement. When I say we stay in our lane, we stay in our lane. You know, I fell into advancement 30 years ago, and I think the color around advancement, the squishiness around the business rules of soft crediting, and the ability to really impact the constituents, and the way that organizations manage their business processes. We have more than 300 years of experience, Haley. I mean, it's like amazing. Our team just spends all their time doing Salesforce managed services with advancement and Salesforce implementations with advancement.
I love that. So tell us about some of those, a recent higher ed implementation or customer story.
Yes, and this was like a really fun one because I've known Nisi for a long time. I've heard about her long before I knew her. She was like a rock star. Everyone talked about her and her implementations. And when the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine came to us and said, hey, we want to come off of our legacy system, looking at moving to Salesforce, we were really excited to move them and their team. And then Connie, who was the project manager there, Connie's the definition of a really good partner, because not only did she, as the project manager, keep the team really aligned and keep all of their tasks right in front of them, but Connie also was never let the chicken littles get you down. You know, the sky is falling. The sky was never falling in Connie's world. She kept everyone focused on that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. She was like an incredible partner, and the team went live in April, and they're really doing some great things with Salesforce now. Yeah, absolutely, Haley.
Nice. I love the word live in April. It sounds good.
Yes.
So what excites you about 2024?
Well, I know everyone's excited about Education Cloud, and I'm over the moon with Education Cloud too. But you know what? We actually landed in Salesforce, like I said, in 2015, and our goal was to get every business process out there on Salesforce. So we also have peer-to-peer now and crowdfunding. We've got tons and tons of QSS customers out there. So we're excited about 2024 and really excited about moving into Education Cloud and enhancing NPSP, and just really making sure that all of the education organizations out there can change the way they do business and personalize it for all of their constituents.
That's beautiful. And you're doing great on time. So my last question for you is, who is your alma mater and what was your degree in?
Oh, good question. You know, being 16 when I graduated from high school, I didn't have hardly any pennies in my pot. So my college degrees were over a very long period of time. I worked 3 jobs, and I really had to try to figure out how to make it all work. So the UW is where I started. Lots of great community colleges in between. The UW is where I ended. Started with the College of Business, ended in econ. Lots of great reasons why, but I know I'm at time, so I will stop there.
You did so good. You did so good. You got some shout outs for you, UW in the chat. Well, great. So Sabre, if they want to come hang out with you, they can come to your booth, right? And I know you guys have a giveaway happening at your booth today, right?
Yeah.
To win.
Yes, come sign up for some good grub at Grubhub. Can't wait to see you there. We'd love to talk more about QSS and Education Cloud and every ways that we can help you with Salesforce and advancement. Thank you, Haley.
Yes, thanks, Sabre. All right, I'm going to go ahead and unpin you. And I'm also just going to make sure Blackthorn feels a little love because I messed up their slide earlier. So thank you to everybody that presented. If you do have questions for Blackthorn or Invado or Leek or any of the sponsors that you've seen throughout the day, just click on the Expo tab, go visit, pop into their booth and say hi. Make sure you also think about joining roundtables, which are going to be next. So Blackthorn is hosting a session on events. Huron is hosting a session about Education Cloud. And actually, I might have a slide on roundtables. Let me see if I do. Nope, I don't. Okay. And then we're also going to be doing an Ask Me Anything from the Advisory Council. So no topic required. If you're wondering what to do next, I'm just going to say one last, not the last thank you, but a big thank you to our sponsors. They were on the hot seat today, like not just the hot seat, like granted, you know, they knew this was coming, but like the timer countdown is a little stressful. So if you guys can just make sure to applaud everybody who got in that hot seat today. I haven't done one of those myself in a while, and it feels like you're just talking a lot. So thank you guys. That was so amazing. These will all be posted along with our other sessions on YouTube. Amazing, amazing sponsors. You might be wondering what to go do next. I think we have things starting. Let me just double check my schedule. I think our next sessions are starting at 3:20. These are our round tables. So you might be wondering what that's going to be like. Our gold sponsors are going to be hanging out in the room, moderating and bringing people on who want to ask questions. So if you're thinking about events, go hang out with Blackthorn. If you want to talk about Education Cloud, go talk to Huron. And if you're not quite sure what you want to talk about, come join us in the Advisory Council Ask Me Anything. And of course, you can always have your roundtable, any roundtable with an expo or with a sponsor over in the expo hall. If you have a question directly for anyone you've heard of, just go talk with them. We'll see you over in the roundtable sessions in just a few minutes. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.